Hey everybody, it's Mike from Monkey Fab. Monkey Fab Garage, monkeyfabgarage.com. Whoa, we got the Phoenix up on the lift today. I just wanted to do a quick update with the wiring stuff, just show you the bottom of it since I have it up. I can show you that real quick. It should have been running and driving today, but you know how first startups go. It's always something. So what do? We replaced the transmission and we rewired the whole thing and did a bunch of little things. I'll show you the wiring piece real quick. So this is our harness for the transmission. It runs through there, everything runs up. And then over through here is the starter and the crank position sensor. Just runs right through here. We welded this guy on and have little zip ties so it stays nice and neat and attached. Yeah, so everything went pretty well. I mean, it ran, it wasn't great. It's the first starts for me, you've never seen the work out right. It's always something, right? So I had to switch over to version 3 of the Holley software, update the firmware, I think is what it's actually called. And anything with computers, I always screw up. It's not like the tuning part's hard. I understand like air, fuel, timing, all that stuff. It's always like connecting a COM port or some random function is switched on when it needs to be switched off, or is disrupting another function. It's always something like that. So if it ran, we can get it figured out. It always goes like this. It went like that the first 3 times we got that started up. It ran like that the first 2 times we got the Volvo started up. We'll work through it. It was just super lean, so something's going on there. Yeah, the bigger problem is I have a leak. Got a leaky boy. So up in here, we can't see is my PTFE lines, and they're connected to like banjo bolts. There's no room up in here whatsoever. But when we got running, I got out and looked, and there was a big puddle transmission fluid. So looked at it. I just have one of those olives that didn't seat right on that guy, and yeah, it happens to all of us. So it even happens to me, even though I deal with this stuff all the time. Stuff happens. The bad thing about that happening, I don't know why Bob is. What are you doing, Bob? You're being a weirdo. You see, I put some spray wax. He was polishing the truck bed. We had it down yesterday. So he sprayed him with some spray wax. Figured we'd get some work out of him. Yeah, so unfortunately everything's got to come out. So to get to that line, there's just no room. So we have to pull off all that exhaust, drive shaft, cross members, undo the converter bolts, pull it all down, fix that fitting, put it all back up. So that little simple guy is going to cost us probably 4 or 5 hours of work because I'm going to go slow. So yeah, but hey, let's check out the wagon. I haven't done a wagon update. I was doing like a whole series on this, and it got so bad, I just figured I'd quit. But I'll probably wrap them all together into one thing. It kind of went wonky at the end, and then I had to rebuild an engine. It didn't do well. But yeah, it's running great now. We've had it running for probably a year, and we're signed up for Drag Week. So if you guys are going to Drag Week in September, we'll see you guys out there. What do we need? We need a new transmission. Not new, just a used one. I totally killed the transmission in this guy trying to figure out how to do the Holley with the automatic transmissions. So I got it. Good thing about 4L60s is your buddies will actually pay you to come get them out of their garage. So that's a bonus. I hope I didn't step in that. Got dogs leaving me presents out here. And Bob, of course, pooping everywhere. So, wow, let's see how many miles do we got on this bad boy now. I got the AC working, which is great. Come on, Holly, do your boot thing. So there we go. We're almost at 6,000 miles on her now. I don't drive much, sorry. Air conditioner, look at that. Ooh, it's so nice. I had to send that off to somebody who knew what the hell they were doing. I tried to do it myself, and I failed. Good. The only really modification I had to do was I had to take this breather off the top. It was really small anyway, and put a vacuum tube into the intake because it was blowing out my dipstick, spraying oil everywhere, and making smoke. Fix that problem no longer. Any issues really with this guy. When you drive the wagon, It's got 5.3, some ported heads, and Matt's sloppy best cam on it. Right, Bob? So, yeah, she's ready to go. Go with the Phoenix. We'll stumble and fumble through the last, oh, it's always that last 10%, right, guys? It's that last 10-20% that takes you 40-50% of the time, something like that. I flooded when I was messing around with the firmware installs. I ended up flooding the engine, and then it stalled up. Luckily, the battery is pretty well dead, so it didn't really, I don't think it did any damage. It just wouldn't turn over. And I went out and tried to manually turn it, and I was like, something's not right. So I popped the spark plugs, and one of the injectors hung open and flooded one of the cylinder number 6. So we had to pull that. That was something to do with just not having the right. It was complicated, you know, doing the firmware. I'd say, in retrospect, the same thing I always say is read the directions. It would have saved me time and effort. But yeah, so that's where we're at on the Phoenix. Gonna get that transmission line fixed and then fumble and stumble through the tune like we always do, and then she should be back on the road. Super excited to have her back on the road. Hoping to make a car show tonight. Let's see, it's 11:30. Whew, I don't know. I got 6 hours. We'll see.